r/AskReddit by Reddit. What is your fake it till you make it story? My undergrad major required a senior project. The honors college program I was in also required a senior project. Because my major was a pretty common one, the major and the honors college allowed students in my major to combine and do one project instead of two. The project for my major required 400 hours of work/participation with a mentor and the presentation of the final project. I was also required to present my project in 2 public forums in order to graduate. Not only did I not get the hours needed, but I also just didn't present my project anywhere. Because I was split between my major and honors college, I don't think anyone took responsibility for me, and I graduated no problem. Still my best act of mediocrity to date. Well, when I was 16 I managed to fake being sick well enough to fool a doctor. It was end of the year, finals week. I had failed 3 classes and was at risk of failing philosophy too. Day of the exam arrives, I wake up late and start to panic as I run to school. I'm already making up a story about how I woke up feeling sick, the usual stuff. They say I can only do the exam if I show up with a doctor's note on the same day. Instead of panicking even harder, I don't even go home and instead walk straight to a kind of mini hospital. I don't know what to call it in English, sorry, close to home. I get there after 1h of walking and find out I can only see a doctor for free if I have a partner card, which I didn't have. After another 2 hours to get home, getting the documents and making a partner card, I wait another 1h in line to get to see a doctor. When my turn arrived, I had already crafted what I thought was a master level narrative of how I woke up with explosive diarrhea, possibly from eating at a awful burger place the night before, as it's not so easy to verify and is mild enough that I didn't have to appear like I was dying for her to believe me. It wasn't hard to fake a sick looking face. I'm very scrawny and hadn't eaten all day at that point. She even measured my blood pressure and confirmed it was awfully low. In the end, she gave me the note, prescribed some medicine, and I did the exam 2 days later. Passed all the other classes as well. Still one of my proudest moments. I was desperate for a job and acted like I had 6 years experience in low voltage and IT work. I YouTubed a boatload of stuff and went out my first week with a journeyman, then they sent me out on my own. He felt comfortable that I knew what I was doing. I now have 4 years of actual low voltage work and still do it to this day, making a load of money now too. No college degree, no experience except in completely different industries. It really goes to show how much you can bullcrap your way into anything. Now I will say I'm pretty sure one of the veteran guys knew that I was winging it, as he helped all the time over the phone with troubleshooting and whatnot, and he never said anything to management. In the end my thought process was, what's the worst that's going to happen? They figure out I don't know anything and fire me. I'm embarrassed for a few minutes as I walk out the door and never see any of them again, so who cares? I suppose since they are somewhat reputable they could have warned other employers, but at the time, not being able to pay rent or afford food, I didn't give a crap. I enlisted in the army in my late 20s, and after a couple of deployments to Iraq in my 30s I decided to make the army my career. I wasn't particularly gung-ho, I know that's the Marines, but a lot of people wouldn't get it if I said I wasn't a but I liked being in the army, and I liked the people I worked with, and people liked to work with me. Eventually I got wounded, and it was one of those Forrest Gump type things where I was discharged, but not really messed up. So here I was in my mid-30s with no real civilian work experience, going out into the real world at the exact same moment that the economy took a nosedive. I ended up using the GI Bill to go to college, and thanks to a couple of semesters of community college I took before enlisting and taking a full load of classes every semester, including a full load in the summers, I managed to get my BS in information science and technology with a minor in business in 3 years. After school I hustled my butt off and took one temp job after another so I could get some experience working in corporate environments. Somehow, and I'm not sure exactly how it went down, I managed to land 1-year contracts with companies that pretty much everyone has heard of. I started out doing basic data entry, which then lead to data analysis, which eventually lead me to my career in payroll processing. All of this from some high school dropout Gen X slacker who spent most of his 20s working dead-end jobs, singing in a punk band, and smoking weed every day. When I went to college after the army, I had no idea how to do crap with computers. Like I could surf the internet and play video games, but that was it. And not counting the army, my most impressive job title was assistant third shift stock manager at a grocery store. I managed to fake it until I made it to the point that now companies are calling me to lure me away from my current gig so I can head up their payroll department. Went from hospitality at a casino to an engineer by faking my resume. I had general electrical knowledge, but that's it. Within 6 months got promoted and left to a higher paying job where I constantly feel like the least experienced engineer telling my engineers how to do their job. Granted, I studied ALET, but my old chief engineer said I was like Leonardo DiCaprio in Catch Me If You Can. Edit. Since people got upset about me using the title engineer, I'll clarify. I repaired heavy machinery, and agree technician would have been a better title. But engineer was the title I was given when I started there, so that's the title I used. I moved to a new city/state days out of college, knowing noon. Spent 2 weeks looking for work and a place to live, while living off of a gas credit card for food and, surprisingly, lodging. Couldn't find a job without a place to live, and no place to live without a job. Ran out of limit on the card and out of money, so I decided to tuck tail back home. The night before I left, I decided to splurge and visit a nudie bar for the first time in my life. Being from a small town, these were very new to me. I spent my last $10 to get into the nudie bar and sat down to enjoy my last night in the new town when all of a sudden the server comes over and proceeds to ask what I wanted to drink and inform me that there was a 2-drink minimum. Whoops, had no idea and was out of money. But instead of excusing myself like any sane person would do, I decide to milk it and simply tell her that I was there applying for a job. The skeptical look on her face, followed by the logical question, is what, a dancer? Led me to further my tangled web. As a DJ, I said with confidence, seeing no other men in the building other than security, and was in no way big enough for that, which led her to walk away. Woo. Finally booby time. Nope. A minute later, my server returns with a rather large fellow in tow who introduced himself as the manager, who also informs me of their current need for a DJ. Why? He says that he would need to hear me on the microphone before he made a decision, but I could start the next day. So, you want to hear me? Now, I found myself in a strip club DJ booth doing the worst impression of the DJ that was working when I walked in. For the 8 minutes I heard him doing the job well, I ended up getting the job, started the next day, and he, the manager, even helped me find an apartment by lying to a complex saying I had worked at the club for 6 months. That business is a cash business mostly, so after each day I would walk with cash in hand and basically learned the job as I went along. Stayed in that job for 6 months, was able to get established in the new city and start an odd career that I never knew about. After 6 months at the nudie bar gig, I ended up fibbing my way into a bar DJ gig, which helped me learn a new set of skills that lead to a nightclub DJ gig. Flash forward to now. I have been named one of the top 3 DJs in Nashville TN for the 2nd year in a row, and several producer and DJ national awards later, I have a career and a company. All because I wanted to see boobies before I went home to mama. I was kicked out of college in 2008 and was desperate for a job. I ended up almost entirely lying my butt off on my resume to get an interview at an apartment property for a maintenance tech. I didn't even know how to swing a hammer, but I was desperate. I would go to fix something and hide in a closet watching YouTube videos until I could figure it out. After a while I discovered I really enjoyed repairing appliances and was good at it. Eventually I learned a bit and used that to get another job, learned a bit more, got another, etc etc. Fast forward 11 years and now I'm certified for NHVAC and appliance repair and have a fantastic job in non-profit housing in a field I never knew I could even do. Sometimes you have to do what it takes to succeed. No regrets. Being smart. I do admit I like knowing and I like thinking, but all my knowledge is surface knowledge and very superficial. I usually hang out with older people and I don't always understand or comprehend what they are saying, so I usually just shut up, then say something that I heard one time about the topic, or ask a question. And at school, I just mention random facts or trivia about the subject and now everyone I know actually thinks I'm smart. Thank you for watching Reddit. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more r/AskReddit videos. Share your stories in the comment section below.